Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kid Lee, and day 3 of E3 2013 is now over. So once again, I'll go over a nice little list I've made up of all the games that I got a chance to see on day 3. So the first game up on the list for day 3 was Infamous Second Son. Infamous Second Son is an upcoming open-world action-adventure game being developed by Sucker Punch Productions. This will be the third main game in the Infamous series. It features a new protagonist by the name of Delsin Rowe. The game is set in Seattle. Delsin's powers appear to be smoke-based in the revealed trailer. His true power, though, is the ability to copy the abilities of other conduits. Delsin's moral choices will affect the story's progression as well as the ability to gain powers. Infamous Second Son will be released on the PlayStation 4 in Q1 of 2014. Next up on the list is World of Tanks, the Xbox Edition. World of Tanks is a multiplayer online tank warfare game. The game is based on mid-21st century tanks. They have 5 different classes of tanks or vehicles in the game. This Xbox version will feature 15 versus 15 and will be free to play for anyone who has an Xbox Gold membership. For those who don't know, in the game you can basically earn experience and then use that experience to upgrade your crew, buy better ammo, and so on. World of Tanks Xbox Edition will be released on, well, the Xbox, and they're looking at a 2013 fall release. Next up on the list is a game called The Crew. The Crew is an open world game, or should I say open United States, as the game takes place in the United States. Literally the United States, the whole US from coast to coast. You are able to drive across country. They actually did a little bit of an experiment, and they took the fastest car in the game and they wanted to see how long it would actually take to drive from coast to coast. I believe they used the interstate system, and it took them about an hour. They then took an off-road vehicle and went from coast to coast, and it took them about 2.5 hours. Now, each city in the game, or I guess I should say each major city in the game, they're saying is about the size of like the last Grand Theft Auto game. This game is based on a team driving game. You and your team need to take down enemy factions town by town. The game is online all the time and is very much like an MMO. As I sort of mentioned before, it will feature both road and off-road driving. The game will feature full car customization mode. The game will also feature a sort of tablet app that will allow you to create and customize cars on your tablet and then import them into the game. And finally, the game will also feature 5 different factions to choose from. The Crew will be released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC in 2014. Next up is Wolfenstein: The New World Order. So Wolfenstein is an upcoming first-person shooter in development by Machine Games. The game takes place during the 1960s in an alternate history where the Nazis won World War II. Players are tasked with launching an impossible counter-offensive against the Nazi powers that have taken over the world. Set in Europe, the New Order will have players infiltrating Nazi strongholds and battling legions of enemies, while taking control of superweapons that the Nazis have used to dominate Earth. The game will use an old-style 100 HP, 100 shield bar system, and will have a very small amount of health regen. Wolfenstein: The New World Order is set to release on the Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and PC sometime in the fall of 2013. Next up is Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 is an upcoming action hack and slash game being developed by Platinum Games and published by Nintendo exclusively for the Wii U. This game does support the off-TV play for the Wii U. Two new abilities have been announced for. She has a whip boot and the ability to dual wield swords in this game. Overall, the gameplay is going to be very similar to Bayonetta 1. Bayonetta, the character, has had a bit of a makeover. She's had her hair shortened. She still does have her hair attacks. The game will feature some sort of two-player mode. Now, it's definitely surprising that Platinum Games chose to release this as a Wii U exclusive, because Bayonetta 1 was a huge hit as a multi-platform game. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how this one turns out. So Bayonetta 2 will be released sometime in probably the spring of 2014. Next up on the list is the new Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate. Dead or Alive 5 is an upcoming fighting game in the Dead or Alive series in development by Team Ninja. The game will add new training modes. The player will also be able to choose their own custom music for the fights. The game will feature new costumes for all characters and will also have some downloadable content. At least 5 more playable characters have been added to the roster. In the demo that I saw, they had 29 characters, so it'll be hard to say whether or not that's going to be the full roster or not. Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate will be released for the PS3 and the 360 on 9/3/2013. Next up is DuckTales Remastered. DuckTales is an action platformer game being developed by WayForward Technology. Many of the original game levels are featured alongside new areas added for the remake, as well as new boss patterns. The game will feature a 2.5D presentation with hand-drawn 2D character mixed in with three-dimensional modeled levels, as well as official Disney voice actors for the characters, including some of the original cast of the animated series, such as Alan Young as Scrooge McDuck. The game will also feature new story elements which explain some of the motives and reasoning behind each level. DuckTales Remastered will be available on the PlayStation Network, the Xbox Live Arcade, and Steam in Q3 or Q4 of 2013. The next game is Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. Castlevania is an action hack-and-slash game in the Castlevania series and is a sequel to the original game. The setting is in southern Europe during the Middle Ages. Dracula, once again weakened and yearning for release from his immortal bonds, facing a new and powerful threat. The vampire lord must reacquire his old powers, and only his castle holds the key. They are added more weapons than the previous game. The game also has a new system called the Mastery System that allows you to charge up your weapons. The game overall will be much of a bigger adventure than the previous one. So Castlevania Lord of Shadow 2 will be available on the PS3, the 360, and the PC in the fourth quarter of 2013. Next up on the list is Rayman Legends. Now, I only got to briefly see this one, so I really don't have too many notes on it. But Rayman Legends is an upcoming platform game developed by Ubisoft. The game carries on the style of gameplay from Rayman Origins, which is up to 4-player run, jump, punch, kick their way through many tricky levels. Anybody who liked Rayman Origins should like this one as well. So Rayman Legends will be out for the 360, the PS3, the Wii U on 9/3/2013. Next up is Project Spark. And again, I've got sort of minimal notes on this one as it was a new game that was announced and they really have not released too much information on it. So what I've got is Project Spark is a sort of a game maker video game for the Xbox One. Players can use the Kinect and the Smart Glass, and I'm assuming the controller, to build environments with mountains, rivers, and towns. The player can also create events like inter-character battles. Created items and objects are able to be shared with other players, and the game is going to be mostly free to play, and that's pretty much all they said on it. So Project Spark will be released for the Xbox One and the Xbox 360 along with Windows 8 sometime in Q4 of 2013, or I guess whenever Xbox One launches. Next up on the list is Splinter Cell Blacklist. Splinter Cell is an upcoming third-person action-adventure stealth game being published by Ubisoft. It is the 6th installment in the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell series and will act as a sequel to Splinter Cell Conviction. Blacklist introduces a new gameplay mechanic called Killing in Motion, allowing the player to highlight targets and take them out in a quick succession while on the run. Blacklist once again stars Sam Fisher as the commander of the newly installed 4th Echelon. As far as multiplayer, it was confirmed that Spies vs. Mercs would be back. Splinter Cell Blacklist will be coming out for the Xbox 360, PS3, Wii U, PC on 8/20 of 2013. And finally, the last game I've got for you on day 3 here is Elder Scrolls Online. Now, with this game being an MMO, it's really hard to tell all about it in just a single paragraph, so I'm going to just focus on the new information that was released at E3. So, Elder Scrolls Online is an upcoming MMORPG. The game will be set 1,000 years before the events of Skyrim. The gameplay will be very similar to Skyrim. You will be able to switch between your first and third person views. The game will have 3 factions and 9 races. They talked a little bit about the mount system in the game. At some point fairly early on, you'll be given a horse, and what you feed that horse will determine how that horse grows, such as will it be faster or will it be able to sprint longer, that sort of thing. They also talked about some sort of wedding system that will be in the game. In this system, you and your partner will each be given a ring. When questing together, the two of you will get bonus experience. The loot system will be character-based, meaning that each person will get their own loot drops, so there will be no fighting over loot. So Elder Scrolls Online will be for the PC, the Xbox One, the PS4, and will be released sometime, hopefully, in 2014. So that's it. That's everything I got to see on day 3. So everybody stay tuned for my continuing E3 coverage, and everybody keep playing and have fun.
Did they give you anything else you can use?
Flying goblins, that's nothing. It's time to bust out Rockman's badass upgrade. And becomes Rockmech. Come on, Dave. Let's finish this fight.
All right. We hope we've sparked your imagination.